So, what happens when workers who are just renovating a national palace stumble upon a hidden treasure? Well, in Ethiopia, they found a massive trove of solid gold, and it kicked off this incredible story of immense value, national pride, and, you guessed it, a whole lot of questions.
Look, a find like this, it's not going to stay a secret for long. It captured the public's imagination almost immediately, and it started this huge storm of speculation. I mean, with a discovery this valuable, it's easy to see why rumors started flying, right? Especially when people feel like they're not getting all the information right away. The big question on everyone's mind was super simple. What happened to all that gold?
To really get why everyone was so excited, you have to let the sheer scale of this sink in. 400 kilograms. That is nearly 900 pounds of solid gold. It's an almost unbelievable amount of wealth. And that number right there, it's the key to understanding why this story got so big so fast.
Now, with a treasure of that size, the rumor that really stuck was that it had been quietly sold off. So let's just cut right to the chase and answer the biggest question first. Was it sold or was it secured?
Yeah, the rumor mill was absolutely churning, convinced the gold was long gone. But the official account, which came straight from the Prime Minister's office, tells the exact opposite story. The gold was never, ever put up for sale. Instead, it was immediately designated as a national asset, meant to be held in reserve.
And listen, this wasn't just some casual handover. A very formal process was put in place to make sure everything was transparent. First, a special committee was put together to officially verify the find. Then, the gold was meticulously weighed and formally received. And finally, the most important step, it was deposited directly into the high-security vault at the National Bank of Ethiopia. A very deliberate public procedure to make sure it was protected.
Okay, so we know the gold is safe and sound in the National Vault. But that brings us to the next obvious question. Just how much is this incredible discovery actually worth? So to get to the total value, you've got to start with the building block. Back in January of 2026, just a single kilogram of gold was valued at around $139,300.
Now you multiply that by the 400 kilograms they found in the palace, and the grand total comes out to a staggering $55,720,000. That is an absolutely massive sum of money.
But to make that number feel real, especially in his home country, you've got to convert it. In the local currency, this treasure was worth over 6.5 billion Ethiopian birr. That's a figure that's even more breathtaking. All right, so we've established just how valuable this asset is. But where is it right now, and how does the nation usually handle its gold supply?
The answer is actually pretty simple and secure. Those 400 kilograms from the palace, they just joined the rest of the country's official gold holdings. All government-held gold is stored in one place, a high-security vault deep inside the National Bank.
You know, this discovery is a fascinating story on its own, but its true importance really comes into focus when you look at the wider economy. Because for Ethiopia, gold isn't just some precious metal, it's a strategic pillar of the entire national economy. So, we've used this term, foreign reserve, a few times. What is that? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like a country's ultimate savings account or emergency fund. It's a stash of foreign money and physical gold that's used to pay for imports, handle international debt, and basically act as a buffer during tough times. In a shaky global economy, holding physical gold is a classic move. It's a real, tangible asset that holds its value.
And if you want to see just how vital gold is for building up those reserves, get this. In just the first 5 months of the 2025-26 fiscal year, Ethiopia brought in $1 billion in revenue from gold exports alone. That is a massive injection of the foreign cash needed for that national emergency fund.
So, the country has this really clear two-part strategy for its gold. Part 1 is to export it to earn that essential foreign currency. Part 2 is to keep physical gold right at home, to directly strengthen the national reserves. That palace discovery, it falls squarely into that second, vital category.
So after all that, what's the single biggest takeaway from this whole story of the Jubilee Palace gold?
It really all comes down to this. This wasn't a treasure to be sold off for a quick payday. It was a strategic asset, a direct investment in the long-term economic stability and strength of the entire nation.
In the end, this gold is so much more than just its monetary value. It's become this powerful symbol, connecting a piece of rediscovered national history with the very foundation of its future economic strength.
And that just leaves us with one final, pretty fascinating thought. If a treasure of this magnitude was basically hiding in plain sight this whole time, what other incredible pieces of history and wealth might still be out there, just waiting for their moment to be rediscovered?